we've had many conversations with JD about this site. I mean, it's not just Aztec Stadium. I mean, this is a huge property that's going to have a lot of things going on. And obviously, part of it, well, should we bring the man on right now?
Let's bring him on. JD Wicker, Aztecs Athletic Director. Huge day for San Diego State University. JD, great to have you. At this point, I guess it's official. City Council has approved the sale of the land in Mission Valley to San Diego State. So huge day for the university. What's it mean and what's next?
Well, it's great to have time to join you guys and appreciate the opportunity. And we are very excited about the City Council taking the second vote and, again, getting the 8 positive votes that finalized the purchase and sale agreement as far as the council's done. So now we're going to wait 30 days for the referendum period to expire, and the mayor has said he will sign the document as soon as possible after that period expires, and then we have escrow, and we're thinking August 7th or somewhere right around there that we'll start construction on the stadium.
That is wonderful. By the way, if Scott Sherman does apply for season tickets, denied. That's the way I would put it there. I just had to say that, JD. I know you don't have to chime in on that. But anyway, so, okay, so the process here, because, people are still asking, and obviously the craziness that is our world right now, it's hard to see past the next day. But if everything goes in order, are we still in line to have a stadium ready for the 2022 Aztec season?
Yes, we are working with our general contractor, Clark Construction. They've been awesome. They're going to be awesome. Gensler, our architects, and right now we're working through the schedule. Obviously, we lost a couple months, so we're really looking hard at the whole schedule. Where can we kind of combine things, consolidate things? Are there spaces where if we spend a little extra money, can we expedite the contract to get us, closer to that September 3rd, 2022 date? That's still what we're shooting for, and we'll continue to work towards that date. And, we're gonna kick off in the fall of 2022.
JD, what is the feature, or what are the features that when fans walk into this building, if we can snap our fingers and look ahead, 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now, what are the features that are going to be some of the staples of this stadium that are going to make people, smile ear to ear when they walk in?
I think one of the signature elements is going to be the piers, which are in the southwest corner of the stadium. It's going to be an elevated standing room only for the most part area. One of the piers will actually go out into the seating bowl, like the pier goes out into the ocean. And, there's going to be a couple bars associated with it, concession stands. But it's a place to mix and mingle. There'll be some seating associated with it as well. But if anybody's been up to Bank of California Stadium in L.A., the Sunset Deck is something that resembles that. The concourses are going to be huge. They're going to be really wide with, again, we're aiming to have about, 50% of the concessionaires to be local restaurants that you're used to seeing, that you want to eat at, and then we'll have our own concepts. But, the landscaping will take a little time to grow in, but we really have a representation of all of San Diego as you walk around the stadium. And I really think the environmental graphics, so all of the branding around, we're going to, we're on Kumeyaay land. We're going to talk about it's Mission Valley, the great stadium that used to be there, that it was dairy farms before San Diego Stadium was built. We're obviously going to talk about, Aztec athletics, the university. We're also going to educate people on Aztecs as a whole. We'll utilize the calendar throughout the stadium, and we're going to take monikers out of the calendar, the iconography in the calendar, and explain what that was to the Aztecs and why it was important. So we're excited about all the stories we're going to be able to tell in the stadium, and it's going to be a great venue to witness a game as well.
JD Wicker joining us. That is great stuff. I love that stuff. I mean, you know me, JD. I'm a big history guy, history buff, and I love to preserve some of that history of that immense property. I'm curious, though. Obviously, SDCCU Stadium has got to stay up until the new stadium is built. And just giving us a little idea, what will eventually replace SDCCU Stadium? What will go there? And again, where will the Aztec Stadium be built adjacent to the current site for SDCCU? Just to give everyone a little visual here.
So the new stadium will go up in the northwest corner, so it'll be bordered by Friars on the north end and then IKEA Costco, out to the west. So up in that corner of the property is where the stadium will go. And, where the current stadium is, obviously we're going to demo the current stadium, and all the concrete that's in the stadium we're going to grind up and use on the site to be part of the base where we, build out, all of the rest of the site as far as the housing and the campus. But I mean, kind of where the stadium sits now is going to be the center of the site. So it's where the housing, the campus, the stadium will all come together in one central point, kind of a focal point within the entire site.
J.D. Wicker joining us right now on Xtra 1360. J.D., what has it been like planning for social distancing as it comes to getting student athletes back on campus? And I believe you're scheduled to do that at some point next week, right?
Yeah, we're, we've got people back in town quarantining and, taking the COVID-19 test. We prepare to have everybody back next week. We're also going to start bringing back the rest of our fall sports as well, the soccers, because they start so early in August. The basketball teams will be coming back at some point, beginning next week as well. So it's been a lot of work by a lot of people. I was just on the executive staff call, and we've got a meeting this evening, a Zoom meeting with women's soccer players and their parents to explain the repopulation plan to them and to answer any questions. Because, the biggest piece for us is health and safety and well-being of our student athletes. And that's the first thing that we talk about and that went into the plan. So we're working through that, and, we're excited to have some kids back on campus, and they're excited to be back on campus and be able to see their teammates and their coaches and, kind of get back to the thing that they love doing.
What is the protocol? I mean, obviously, you saw what we saw, 37 Clemson players. 37, that's a third of the roster testing positive for COVID-19. But when all the testing is done, players that do test positive, and there will be some, we know that, what is the protocol? I mean, as far as how many negative tests do they have to have before they're back into football activities? What exactly is the protocol that would have to apply not just to kick off the football season, but throughout the football season?
So, as you do a test, if somebody, tests positive, then you put them into isolation. And, the university has housing set aside specifically for students who do test positive. And we provide meal service and regular, medical personnel are checking on them regularly. They'll still have access to, being able to go to class and things like that virtually. Participate if they feel well enough to do that. I mean, that's one of the big things right now you see is a lot of, college age kids are testing positive, but they're asymptomatic. So you'll have that piece. And then we have to contact trace and figure out who all had, contact with this particular student athlete for the amount of time that the CDC says. And those folks go into quarantine and, they'll be tested, but with the person in isolation, I'm not exactly familiar with. There's a certain number of days that you have to, have had, I think, no fever, and then there's tests involved as well to make sure that you're clear. And then the quarantine folks, they'll be tested as well to see if they have, if they contracted COVID from the contact or not after a certain number of days. And if they have, they go into isolation. If not, then they're back to team activities. So there's a lot of work to it.
These are busy times, also exciting times. And, J.D., congratulations again on everything around the purchase and sale agreement in Mission Valley. And we hope to be talking some San Diego State football later on here this summer. But thank you so much for doing this today. Yeah,
guys, I appreciate it very much. Appreciate y'all's support through all of this. it's an exciting time. It's a challenging time, but we're going to build a football stadium, and come 2022, we're going to be playing football in it, and go Aztecs.
Yes, go Aztecs. And that Loose Cannons concourse, JD, is going to be phenomenal. It really is going to be an incredible part of the stadium. We'll appreciate that. The great JD Wicker. Thank you, JD.